Good morning, students. So, we are going to start another unit for you, targeted drug delivery system. So, in this, we will discuss about targeted drug delivery system. Nowadays, we are going for different types of techniques to deliver the drug in a different ways. So, sometimes we are going for controlled release drug delivery system to slow the release rate of the drug and release the drug in a predetermined rate. So it is generally for this, for a particular drug, the therapeutic effect will get by binding with the receptor at the particular site. But with it, we need to deliver the drug systemically throughout the body to get the therapeutic effect in a particular place. So that's why it may affect different other parts of the body, or we can tell it may affect your different organs, and it will give a adverse effect for that. So that's why we need to take while we are using different types of drugs. Some drugs are cytotoxic drugs which are toxic to the cells, but that cytotoxic drug is required to deliver at a particular place where the disease occurs. So in that cases, we need to deliver in that particular place. So that's why a new techniques came, that is known as targeted drug delivery system, by which we can deliver the drug to a particular site of action. So generally, we are administering the different types of drug, particularly selectively to a particular organ or selective organ, and for that we need to identify the particular part of the body where we need to deliver the drug, that we can tell pre-selected part, and with this, so that we can able to bind the drug in that particular site and will give the localized and systemic effect there. So it is, that's why different types of targeted drug delivery system nowadays discovered to deliver the drug efficiently to a particular organ by minimizing the toxic effect and maximizing the therapeutic index of the drug. So it is, let us discuss about different components of the targeted drug delivery system. So in the targeted drug delivery system, two types of part generally we can tell, two important components. One is target area, second one drug carrier or marker. So the first one, target means it may be your organ or it may be a tissue of a particular cell or a particular part of a organ where we need a treatment. So that is known as target, where the disease occurs or particular part of the body or particular part of the organ where we need to deliver the drug. So that part we are telling as target. Now coming to drug carrier generally, it is generally a carrier system which delivers the drug at a particular receptor, and generally these carriers are molecules which are responsible for the transportation of drug to the target site. So this carrier acts as a transporter which will transport the drug from one part to site of action, particular site of action, and generally the drug is encapsulated in the carrier molecule so that it is able to deliver at that particular site. So many drugs nowadays are can be delivered by using the carrier, like some anti-cancer drugs, vaccines, antimicrobial agents, genetic materials, proteins, different macromolecules can be targeted to a specific site. So in this, there are so many types of advantages there, disadvantages there. We'll discuss some of the advantages. Like drug administration process is simple, toxicity of the drug is minimum, these are the advantages. Lower dose of the drug requires to get the desired therapeutic efficiency. And like that, so many disadvantages we will see also, like your immunoreactions against intravenous administered carrier system, and difficult to maintain stability of the dosage form, instability or insufficient localization of the targeted systems, and diffusion and redistribution of the released drug. So these are the different types of disadvantages we will see. But there should be some ideal characteristics of this targeted drug delivery system. First one, it should be biochemically inert, both physically and chemically stable, should be uniform capillary distribution, and with this it should be controlled and predictable rate of drug release. It should be controlled and predictable drug release, and the therapeutic amount of drug release should be accurate, and minimal drug leakage during the transit. Like that, so many ideal characteristics there which you have to maintain to get a better therapeutic efficiency. So let us discuss about different types of targeted drug delivery systems there and carriers we are taking, we are using. So many types of carriers there, not one type, but as per the syllabus we will go. These are some some mentioned on the syllabus, like your liposomes, nanoparticles, neosomes, and monoclonal antibodies, and like that so many others there, like resealed erythrocyte, which is not mentioned in your syllabus, but whatever is mentioned we will discuss that one. So first one we will discuss about liposomes. So generally these liposomes are the carriers for different types of molecules or drugs in the pharmaceutical industry. So generally these liposomes are your small artificial vesicles which is having a spherical shape, which is generally prepared by cholesterol and phospholipids. Two types of materials we are taking, cholesterol and phospholipids for that. And with this, the phospholipids we are taking, that should be non-toxic, and the size of the liposome will be ranges from 0.01 to 5 micrometer in diameter. So due to its sizes, and hydrophobic and hydrophilic character, these are very promising drug delivery system nowadays, and generally these are your bilayer vesicles which are prepared by phospholipids which are hydrated in aqueous solution, and generally liposomes differ from each other by means of composition, lipid composition, and your surface charges, sizes, and method of preparation. And the bilayer components will be determined the rigidity and fluidity and change of the bilayers. So generally we are taking a unsaturated phosphatidylcholine, and that will be collected from natural sources like egg, soybean, phosphatidylcholine, and these will give you a most permeable for the drugs, and also sometimes it will get a less stable bilayer. Like this, liposomes can able to trap both hydrophilic substances and hydrophobic substances. Both type of oil soluble and water soluble type of substances or drugs can be entrapped by these liposomes. And with this, the release pattern will be in the particular designated area, and it is having a good biocompatibility, biodegradability, low toxicity, and as carrier for both hydrophilic and hydrophobic drugs, and it is a site-specific drug delivery system. So that's one I would say very popular drug delivery system, and it's a very newest technique. And let us discuss about some uh, advantages of liposomes. Like it provides selective passive targeting to the tumor cells and increased efficiency of the therapeutic index, increased efficiency and therapeutic index, increased stability via encapsulation, biocompatible. Like that also so many disadvantages there, like your uptake of liposomes by reticoendothelial systems of the body, and batch to batch variation, difficult in the large scale formulation or large scale manufacturing. So like that so many disadvantages also there. So like that let us discuss about classification. So in the classification generally these are classified as per two parameters. One is sizes and method of preparation. As per sizes, it will be your multilamellar or large vesicular, oligolamellar vesicle, unilamellar, multivesicular, and medium unilamellar, small unilamellar, and large unilamellar. As per the sizes. Sizes means we'll discuss if we'll see the multilamellar are having more than 0.5 micrometer, which is the highest one. Oligolamellar 0.1 to 1 micrometer. Unilamellar having different all sizes. Multivesicular is having more than 1 micrometer. Like that small unilamellar it is having 20 to 100 nanometer, and large unilamellar it is having a more than 100 nanometers. Like that, as per method of classification also we can classify it. One is vesicles prepared by extrusion method, by French press, vesicles prepared by fusion, vesicles prepared by reverse phase evaporation, frozen and thawed MLV, dehydration and rehydration vesicle. So like that different types of these liposomes are classified as per their method of preparation. So now let us discuss about preparation of liposomes. So generally for the preparation of liposomes we are taking different materials like phospholipids we are taking. So these phospholipids also we are taking synthetic phospholipids, glycerolipids, then glycosphingolipids, cholesterol, polymeric material, charge inducing substances. Generally we are preferring in this. But while you are preparing this one, always the drug will not be loaded in that liposome. So that's why this loading parameter is divided into two types. One is active loading, another one passive loading. Active loading or sometimes called as remote loading. So in this process first liposomes are prepared, which is consists of a transmembrane gradient, and it consists of your aqueous phase inside and outside of the liposomes will be different. And one amphipathic drug dissolved in the exterior aqueous solution, and which will penetrate the phospholipid bilayer by the interaction with trapping agent. After that the drug will be locked inside the core. So like that passive locking, it is generally involves loading of the entrapped drug during or before the manufacturing procedure or before manufacturing the drug liposomes it will be made. That is known as passive loading. So like that different methods of preparation there. As I told you, the passive loading technique, active loading technique. In the passive loading technique, three techniques there: mechanical dispersion method, solvent dispersion method, and detergent removal method. So, in the mechanical dispersion method, we are taking lipid film hydration, microemulsification, sonication, French pressure cells, membrane extrusion, freeze-thawed liposomes. In solvent dispersion method, we are using ethanol injection, ether injection, double emulsion technique, and then reverse phase evaporation. So like that different techniques we are using. Like that detergent removal method one there, different detergent like choline, alkyl glycosides, and Triton X, removal from the mixed micelles, then dialysis, column chromatography, and dilution. So these are the different passive loading techniques. Passive loading techniques, and like that there is a general method of preparation of liposomes there. How the liposomes is prepared is a flow chart given. First of all, the lipid is dissolved in organic solvent by using a co-solvent. Then organic solvent will be removed by the vacuum. Then film deposition of solid lipid mixture is hydrated by aqueous buffer. Then lipid spontaneously swell and hydrate. Then liposomes are formed. Then this post hydration, different techniques we are using like vortexing, sonication, freeze throwing, high pressure extrusion to get a uniform size of these liposomes. With this, so many applications also there of these liposomes, like your site avoidance delivery properties, which minimize the delivery of drug to other cells like normal cells, site specific target delivery to a particular higher concentration of drug to a particular site, a specific site where the disease occurs, and increased delivery of the potent drugs to the cytosol, and it is used to provide sustained release drugs. Then intraperitoneal administration, immune response of the vaccines, and liposomes are drug protein delivery vehicles. Then liposomes used for the antimicrobial drug delivery, antifungal, antiviral drugs can be used through these. And also sometimes liposomes are used as artificial blood surrogates. Like that, so many uses there. Also nowadays in cosmetics we are using, in dermatology we are using, for radio pharmaceuticals we are using these liposomes. So these are all about your liposomes. In the next class we will discuss about neosomes. Thank you.